Hi everyone, good morning. I decided I'd just interrupt you for just a minute and or 6 maybe minutes. I don't know, you know how I am. But anyway, I wanted to show you. I've been making these little pocket prayer quilts, and I've been making them with like here is the way I was making them. Like this is one layer and then a layer of flannel and then a back layer. Well, that's the way I was making them in the past. But I have been gifted so many um, squares. What's that doing in there? So many 4x4 squares. I have just, this whole box is full of 4x4 squares that have been gifted to me. And so I thought, well, is there a way I can use these I could cut them to 2x2s or something, but no, I want to use them as the 4x4s to make my little quilts. So I found a different way. This is what I come up with. So, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to show you how I do this. So, like, I'll take two of the for one color, and then I'm going to take two, ouch, of another color. Okay, and so this is how I'm going to do these. Now, and this is going to turn out to be about this size. And this one here is like this is like 3x3. But they don't all come out exactly the same size. The way I do it, see, they're all like a little bit different. So now what I do is here, I'll show you what I do. Just a minute. I'm going to sew these together, these two together, and I'm going to sew these two together. Okay, I need to give it a little press here first. Tried to fix my camera to where you wouldn't have to look at my chubby belly. What the heck. But see, I moved my sewing machines off of this table and put it over here on this little table, so it's sort of a L shape kind of, and it makes it easier for me. And oh, good grief, Elizabeth. Okay, y'all hang on a minute while I thread my machine. It's unthreaded. Wait a minute, I'm gonna pause. Oh, good gravy. I almost forgot to turn the camera back on. But anyway, so I sewed these two together. See, like this? Now I'm going to sew them together this way. So it's going to be a 4-patch. Now these are already, so that's going to make a larger patch than I need. But this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to sew them together like this, right sides together. I'm going to make sure that I have that seam in the center right lined up. Even if the ends over here don't line up, that's okay. I'm making sure that center seam is lined right slam up. And so then I will stitch that together. Make sure I have that. Correcto mundo. And so this way I'm going to have the 4-patch done. And I'll end it on a donkey, and then I will snip that off of there and snip my donkey off of here. I used to call these beginners and enders, leaders and enders, but I heard somebody else calling them donkeys, and I like that word better, so I started using that. Okay, so now I'm going to, I didn't get that right, but that's okay. I'm going to press this seam open. I got my iron over here on the other side, my little bitty iron. It's over there, but you can just finger press it. If you don't have your little iron, you can just run your fingernail on it. But I go ahead and I do the little pressing with my little bitty arm because I have it right here, and I just think it's cute. And so, and I've been using a little bit of spray starch too. I've had this can around, as you can tell, like for eons. I do have a new can though, once I use this a lot. I used to use a lot of that when I was actually ironing clothes. And, but now that I don't actually iron clothes anymore, yeah, I don't do that. I used to love ironing. Gosh, I loved ironing. I don't know why. I guess even now I still like, once you iron something, it's all nice and flat and crisp and nice. And, yeah. So now what I'm going to do, this is what, because I got these 4x4, wait a minute, let me get a little drink of my coffee right here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and turn it over. I'm going to fold this. Well, it doesn't matter which way I fold it, but I'm going to fold it to where that center, this edge comes right to the center. Or you can go a little bit in there. It doesn't have to be just real exactly. And so, and then you can finger press it or iron it. And then this side, do the same thing and get it till it just meets in there. So then you turn it over and make sure you got it kind of even looking. Looks like I got that one side fatter than the other. I want to try and get my squares sort of easy, even. There, see, like that. Now I'm going to bring it over here and I'm going to press that with my little iron. Get that ironed. I love folding and ironing. I just love folding. I was watching Stacy. She does her auctions. A lot of times she's got fabric and she just wads it up in a pile. She goes, gosh, I hate folding stuff. And if you order from her, you're going to get it in a wad because she does not like folding. I told her one day, I said, I just need to move up there by you and fold your fabric for you. Because I love folding. I just think folding is fun. Folding fabrics and towels and washcloths, square things. I'm not too into folding clothes. But anyway, let's carry on. Okay, so now I've got that into there. Now I'm going to take this other end. See, I just folded those two edges in, and now I'm going to fold this other edge in. When you do that, then you can see that's going to be your quilt right there. And see how the 4 squares, see, this is why we want to get those seams in the middle. We want to get those in there pretty. See, matchy, you know, like matchy. And then again, we will iron. I could get my iron to come over here. No, it won't come over there. Okay. I should have put my ironing mat right here. That's what I should have did. I should have did that. Okay, so now I have them in there. So both of the sides look the same except this is the back. Okay, but now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and we'll fold those corners in. I'm folding the corners in like this way. Do you see how I did that? I folded them corner. See how I folded the corner in there? Almost so it looks like a triangle right here. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side to fold the corner in. But see, you already have that ironed, that fold where you either finger pressed it or you ironed it. And so now the whole thing is folded in like this. So you got it folded in on all 4 corners. So that's the front side and the back side. Okay, now I'm gonna just bring my, I feel weird I don't have my arm. I hate hiding from, oops, now I did that. Just a minute now. What am I causing here? Causing me a ruckus over here. I'm gonna iron right on my glass mat, whatever. And so I can iron that, see? It doesn't hurt if I iron it right on my glass mat. I'm not touching the mat. Okay. So now see, when I iron it, I got it nice and smooth there. So I like using my little arm because that just is, it helps me out. Okay, see that? Now, wait a minute. Before I forget, I got to put this thread. I just pulled it out of the thingy. I got to pull it back into the thingy. We did that when I was moving my iron. Okay. I'm going to start sewing. Okay, there we go. We got that fixed. All right. So then I just have a bunch of, I think these are 2.5. Yeah, 2.5-inch squares here. I have a bunch of different ones. I don't even be particular as to which one. See how that's on the back of that? You see how that is? You see? Now. And so now it's just folded and ironed. See? Now I'm going to take it to the sewing machine and I'm going to stitch just around this square. Oh, I forgot the cross. Then I have crosses in my box here. So I take my little wooden cross. This is what I have, is these little wooden ones. I've used different kind of crosses, but this is just the little one. So I'm going to poke that in here. I'm just going to stuff that in there. It's just stuffed inside there now. Okay. Now this lays on top. Almost forgot that cross. That's important to have the cross hidden in there. Okay, see? Now you can pin it if you want to. If you want to, you can. But if you can't find your... Oh, here it is. I was going to say, if you can't find your pin cushion, well, then don't worry about it. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start sewing. But now when you start sewing around this, make sure you scooted that cross. You can feel that cross. Make sure it's not under your sewing machine needle, or you might have a problem. You might be a redneck if you... Well, anyway, you know. Okay, so then, I'm going to take it over here to the old sewing machine. And I'm going to stitch just right around that. Okay, cut my donkey off of there. Don't need my donkey on there. Go right there, donkey. Okay. And then always make sure you feel that cross. Make sure it's not underneath your needle. And make sure I got that on a slow stitch speed. So that, okay, now I can take my pin out. And then I'll stitch. So there's very little stitching on this. And I really, if you have an iron, you know, it makes it a lot better if you iron it, you know. Now I'm making sure I'm poking my, making sure my cross is not in the way of the needle. And so, and then I'm doing the last little edge here. And then I'm going to just go down this way a little bit, back stitch. Okay, now make sure I put my donkey on there so I don't lose my thread don't come unthreaded. I have learned that using them donkeys on there, that is a good idea. Okay, so now okay, make sure my little threads are off. So now my that's basically it right there. But then I take this is just a little embroidery floss on there, and I'm going to, like, I'm going to tie a little knot from the corner of that light one to the corner of this light one. I'll go in this one, and then I'll come in that one, out that one, whatever, in, out. There we go. And this one, for some reason, and I don't know the reason, came out, looks like, quite a bit larger. But this is like the that is way larger. Yeah, see, that one came in way larger, and because when I folded the pieces in, if I overlapped them a little bit, then they wouldn't. How much time have I spent here? I'm gonna make another one. Now see, that one sort of got big. Now I'm gonna take two more. Let's see. Let's take these two, and let's take these little blue ones. Okay. And I'm going to pause. Okay, I went and got me a little fake ironing board out of the bathroom. I've got a wool mat over here on the other side of my sewing machine, which I usually use, but just so that I can stay in camera focus, I'll use this washcloth as a little pretend ironing board, so you can see actually what I'm doing. All right, and like I say, I like my fabrics to be pressed. See, I like them pressed. So I once worked at a Just Your Kids Clothes, it was called. I was just a teenager at the time, but it was a sewing factory, and I loved it when they had me ironing. When I would iron, is I would be packaging, but you fold. See my folding. You'd fold the clothes and then you'd iron them, and I just loved that. I just loved ironing, folding and ironing. Okay, see, so now I'm going to line these two edges up, and I'm going to, yeah, so now I'm just going to do the same thing I did before, but I'm not going to hide over there on my ironing pad. I could move the ironing pad, but it wouldn't fit there. And we're off to the races. That's one of them, and then here's the second one. We'll iron that one. We're not ironing that, we're sewing that one. Okay, this is going good. Put the donkey under there. And then my Caesar. I've got little nippers somewhere, but I in all my organizational stuff I've been doing, I don't know where my nippers are. I know I have some though. I think I got 3 pair of thread nippers. Okay, so now I've got these two pieces stitched together. See there? All right, I'm gonna make a 4-patch quilt piece. Now I'm gonna open that up. I'm gonna open that seam up there, and I'm going to give it a little squirt. I like it to be nice and crisp. Come here, Arne. Okay, nice and crisp. Okay, and then we'll do this one and do that the same way, and we will iron that one open nice and crisp. And like I say, you can finger press this and it'll work the same way. I'm just the ironing fool. Ironing fool. Okay, now. Okay, now I'm going to, I want them sewed together this way, so I'm gonna put them pretty sides together, and I'm going to line up my seam Make sure my seam is lined up right there in the center. And then, see if you, now my corners are lining up too, but sometimes if your pieces aren't exactly the same, then your corners, and then you line up the corners, then your seam in the middle won't be lined up, so I do that way. Okay, so now here we go again, off to the races. And it's going. Cut it on a slow stitch. Okay. Now, let's take that off of there. And my donkey off. Okay, see, now I got the 4 pieces stitched together. So I'm going to give that a little press right down the middle. See how you can just finger press it? You could do that and that would be fine. But because I get, you know, some people are OCD in just different ways. I used to think that OCD just meant you like to do housework. Well, I found that OCD can be anything. I'm just OCD in ironing and folding. Okay. Of course, just self-diagnosed. Okay, now see, so now I have it, it's nice and flat. Gotta get me another drink of this coffee. Okay, I threaded my coffee. Okay. So now I want this one got kind of big. And see how they can be just all different sizes. This is my smallest one. Look at the difference in the sizes. And so, and these are both starting with 4x4s. But look at how different the size came up because of the way I folded it. Okay, so what I'm going to do on this one, I want this one to be smaller. So I'm going to fold this one up. Instead of going right to the seam in the center, I'm going to pass it up. And I'm going to put it right there. Okay, so this one's going to be smaller. And actually, they're supposed to be a little smaller. Well, I don't know if there's any supposed to be to that. But then, so I'll fold that and I press that one. So now I'm going to fold it again, but I'm going to look on this side to make sure that this seam and this seam look pretty much the same. So that's going to be overlapped now. See, so then I'm pressing it, but it's overlapped. See, so now these two sides are about the same. So now when I turn this, now I'm ready to turn this down. Turn these ends down, and so I'm going to, I want to make sure that this looks square. So I'll look at the front side. Now that looks pretty square. These two look pretty square right there, as opposed to the rectangle. And so I'm going to now press that so it'll stay there. And then I want this one, now I'm going to look at the front side so I can see where to fold it. And so I want that one to be about there. And now all my squares look square, not like rectangles or off kilter. Lord knows we don't want nothing off kilter. Okay, so now, see now here, ouch, that's hot. Well, that one there is even a little bit, it's a little bit smaller, but not a whole lot smaller. My little smaller one here is even smaller yet. So you're going to end up with all different you can end up with all different sizes depending on how. And if you have 3x3s, instead of I'm using 4x4s because that's what I have. If you've got 3x3 patches, that probably would be even better. I might cut me some 3x3s, but since I have all them 4x4s, that is why I'm using the 4x4s and coming up with this size. I looked for my little tags that I use on my because I add a little tag to my quilts to my pocket quilts before I give them away. But I couldn't find where I put my tags. But I do have them saved on my computer so I can print some more out. So see, now I just turned that up into that point here and fold that down. And I got a little bit of that got a little bit of a lot of Niagara spray starch on there. Okay, now I'm going to fold this other side and make it into like a point. I'm hoping that I'm showing you this to where you can understand what I'm doing, because this is different. You'll see another, I do have another video where I made the other little ones, the littler ones, out of just 2.5 by 2.5 inch squares, and then cut them even smaller at the end. So they're real small. And so, you know, there is more than one way to skin a cat. I don't know why people say that. Why is there more one way to skin a cat? Because why would anybody want to skin a cat? You don't skin cats. Jeez. Sometimes, some of these sayings, you wonder, where did they come up? Who come up with such? Like, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Why would you want to kill even 1 bird? Yeah, okay, we're not going to be killing no birds. So now I'm going to get that nice and pressed. Okay, and then I'm going to get into my cigar box of crosses and get me another cross. And I'm going to put that inside and stuff it inside there. Just get it in there, anywhere. Make sure it's in there. And then we'll get another little square. See, these are already cut 2.5 inch squares. They were also gifted to me, which is such a blessing, these gifts. And so I'm going to, now see, that fits even so much better. Now I'm going to scoop my cross. Okay, my cross is scooted way over there, so I don't have to worry. And then we'll put 1 pin in there to kind of hold that steady. Hold it still. No, don't pin it to the washcloth, Elizabeth. Good grief, this woman. This woman. Jeez. Okay. So now I'm going to stitch. Can you still see me over here? Okay, good. I mean, you don't want to see me, but you want to see something anyway. You don't want to just see black screen. Okay. And so now we're going to go ahead and stitch around that little patch we put on there. And that's a 2.5 inch patch. Or square, whatever you want to call it. And always be mindful. See, now my cross is right here, so I'm going to push that cross over. Push. Get over there, Mr. Cross. Put that cross over there, because we don't want to try and sew through a chunk of wood. I've got some crosses that are plastic. I've had some that are metal. And I've got different kind of crosses. So, let me get this off of here. Just whatever. Actually, the flatter the cross, the better. Because it's, if you're going to be mailing them. If you're going to mail them to somebody, then you can have just a little flat cross is better. And because it'll fit into an envelope. And so there we go. So I have my, I didn't put my donkey on there. Let me put my donkey on there now and just make sure my thread is in the donkey. There. So that it won't, I don't lose it. Okay, now I can see that I didn't get this real square right here. It's kind of poked out a little bit. And so, but it's okay. These are handmade. So when you give a handmade something, and I don't ever, you know, these I give to people. I've never sold any of these. Sometimes I put them in as an extra, you know, if somebody orders something. Okay, and then I have, where's my thread? Okay. my embroidery floss. I'm going to go here and I'm going to, where's my cross? Cross, oh, there you are. Okay. Push that through there. Got an awful big needle on here. It's almost a tatting needle. I've been thinking about tatting lately. I used to do tatting back in the day. And I've been thinking about doing, although tatting is very tedious and it's very small, and but I thought, yeah, I think I want to do a little tatting. But maybe it won't come through. Now this isn't the best needle to use for this. Now how did I do that? Leave it to me. Leave it to Beaver. I actually stitched right through my thread. If that isn't just hunky-dory. That is hunky-dory. I wonder if I can pull that through there like this. No. Okay, let us pretend you didn't see that. Cut that off of there. Cut this off of here. I can still use that thread. Okay, now. Let's see. I go through the top. Yeah, this needle is just got too big of an eye. But anyway, for my no strength hands. Where'd that? Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay. So when I make these up, I got to print out some more of the little tags that I put on them. But what I do is, so there's that finished little, now see, that one come out a little smaller, not much smaller, but a bit smaller. So you can make them any size that you, yes? Okay. You going for a walk? Okay. I'll see you when you come back in. Short walk. Okay. Now, okay. So, then, let me see. Do I have my pins in here? See, here I've got these little tiny bitty silver pins, too. Those are nice. And, oh, I didn't put my pins in here. Okay, so what I do, well, I usually use the little golden pins, but I take a safety pin, just a small little safety pin, and I pin that pin right here. And then I will take a little piece of ribbon and I'll tie my little tag to this. So I don't have a tag to show you the tag because I don't know where I put them, and so I got to print some more out. But then I also add to them this little thing. Okay, I wrote this to send with my pocket prayer quilts when I send them to somebody, and I need to somehow put this to where people can just print it out, but I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to take this and copy it where people can just print it out, because I've had many people ask me for a copy of this, which I've got a couple addresses already that I got to mail to send them a copy of this so that they can use them too. But this is what I wrote. And I wrote this. This is my words, and I don't have no copyright on it. So if anybody copies what I wrote, it is no big hairy deal, because I think what my pocket prayer quilt says to me, there are 3 layers of fabric. Okay, when I first started making them, I had 3 layers of fabric like I showed you here. So there's 3 layers in there. Now here, there still is 3 layers. We got the one on the back, we got the one on the front, and the layer that's in the middle, which the folded piece makes for the 3rd layer. Okay. There are 3 layers of fabric. That reminds me of the Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. The cross inside that you can feel but not see is Jesus inside of me that I can feel but not see. The stitching around is the path the Lord provides for me to follow to keep Jesus always inside of me. The safety pin reminds me that keeping Jesus inside me always leads me always to safety. The colors of the fabric remind me that He loves all colors equally, that all colors make up this beautiful world. The string tying my pocket quilt together in the middle reminds me of His heart that binds us all together. As we know, a quilt will keep us warm from the outside in. This pocket prayer quilt warms us from the inside out. Always remember to pray. So that I wrote is just what my pocket prayer quilt says to me. And so I did not come up with the idea of a pocket prayer quilt. That I saw this on another YouTube. In fact, there's more than one YouTube that shows you different ways you can make this quilt. But now this is just a way that I come up with because I have all them 4x4 patches that have been gifted to me, and I want to use them. And so, and as you can see, you can make them quite quickly, and I've got quite a few here made now. And so and I've got to make copies of this because I do have some people that are waiting for me. Who is this one? Oh, see, Tammy right there. She's probably wondering where the heck. And so she even sent me an envelope, so I would send that to her. And so I want to send that to her. And so if you have asked me for one, yes, I'm moving right along. I move at the snail's pace. So anyhow, and that is what my reading is today. Is what my pocket prayer quilt says to me. And so, but I just wanted to give you a little update on how I have just changed that just a little bit. And so now I'm going to work on some more of these. I'm going to go in there on my computer and I'm going to print out some more of the little things and print out some more of these. And I wish there was a way I knew that I could just put, because I don't know, it's like some people can put something in their description box and say if you click on this you can get a copy of something. I don't know how to do that. If anybody can help me with that I could actually put this in as a free printable, that would be just wonderful. So if anybody knows how to do that, message me and kind of give me the directions. Yeah, that so I would know how to do that, and then that way people can just print this out, and I could do other things too that can be just printed out. Okay, now I'm going to, okay, thank you so much for watching this, and I hope I have actually showed you something you didn't know before. I don't know, I just don't call myself a teacher or a tutor or a nothing. I'm just a doer, and that's all we are, is a doer. And maybe somebody wants to do the same things we do. And yes, I'm ask God to watch over you every step you take, every move you make. And I will see you on the next video. God bless and keep you. Let me see.